Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Your Ideal. This is my first video on this channel. In this channel, I am going to tell you the biographies or the real stories of several scientists, mathematicians, cricketers, freedom fighters, historical heroes and many other legends who are maybe your ideals. That's why my channel is Your Ideal. Before going to the main content of this video, let me introduce myself. Hi, I am Dibyendu Ganai. I am graduated and postgraduated in mathematics from recognized universities. Today, I am going to introduce one of the greatest scientists of 17th century. No need to introduce this great person. Yes, I am telling about Sir Isaac Newton. Before going to his life history, we have to know who was Sir Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton was a physicist and mathematician who developed the principles of modern physics, including the laws of motion, and is credited as one of the greatest minds of the 17th century scientific revolution. In 1687, he published his most acclaimed work, Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy, which has been called the single most influential book on physics. In 1705, he was knighted by Queen Anne of England, making him Sir Isaac Newton. Newton was born on January 4, 1643 in England. Using the old Julian calendar, Newton's birthday is sometimes displayed as December 25, 1642. Newton was the only son of a prosperous local farmer, also named Isaac, who died 3 months before he was born. A premature baby born teeny and weak, Newton was not expected to survive. When he was 3 years old, his mother, Hannah Newton, remarried a well-to-do minister and went to live with him, leaving young Newton with his maternal grandmother. The experience left an impact on Newton, later manifesting itself as an acute sense of insecurity. He anxiously obsessed over his published work, defending its merits with irrational behavior. At age 12, Newton was reunited with his mother after her second husband died. She brought along her 3 small children with her second marriage. Newton was enrolled at the King's School in Grantham, a town in England. His mother pulled him out of school at age 12. Her plan was to make him a farmer. Newton was disappointed as he found farming monotonous. Newton was soon sent back to King's School to finish his basic education. Perhaps sensing the young man's innate intellectual abilities, his uncle, a graduate of the University of Cambridge, Trinity College, persuaded Newton's mother to have him enter the university. Newton enrolled in a program similar to a work study in 1661 and subsequently waited on tables and took care of students' rooms. When Newton arrived at Cambridge, the scientific revolution of the 17th century was already in full force. The heliocentric view of the universe, theorized by astronomers Nicolaus Copernicus and Johannes Kepler, and later refined by Galileo, was well known in most European academic circles. Philosopher René Descartes had begun to formulate a new concept of nature as an intricate, impersonal, and inert machine. Yet, like most universities in Europe, Cambridge was steeped in philosophy and a view of nature resting on a geocentric view of the universe. dealing with nature in qualitative rather than quantitative terms. In 1665, the plague that was ravaging Europe had come to Cambridge, forcing the university close. After 2 years of gap, Newton returned to Cambridge in 1667 and was elected a minor fellow at Trinity College, as he was still not considered a standout scholar. In the ensuing years, his fortune improved. Newton received his Masters of Arts degree in 1669 before he was 27. During this time, he came across Nicholas Mercator's published book on methods for dealing with infinite series. Newton quickly wrote a paper, The Analysis, expounding his wider-ranging results. He shared this with a friend and mentor, Isaac Barrow, but did not include his name as an author. In June 1669, Barrow shared the manuscript with British mathematician John Collins. In August 1669, Barrow identified its author to Collins, Mr. Newton, very young, but an extraordinary genius and proficiency in these things. Newton's work was brought to the attention of the mathematics community for the first time. Shortly afterwards, Barrow resigned his Lucasian professorship at Cambridge, and Newton assumed the chair. Newton made discoveries in optics, motions, and mathematics. Newton theorized that white light was a composite of all colors of the spectrum, and that light was composed of particles. His momentous book on physics, Principia, contains information on nearly all of the essential concepts of physics except energy, ultimately helping him to explain the laws of motion and the theory of gravity. Along with mathematician Leibniz, Newton is credited for developing essential theories of calculus. Newton's first major public scientific achievement was designing and constructing a reflecting telescope in 1668. As a professor at Cambridge, Newton was required to deliver an annual course of lectures and chose optics as his initial topic. He used his telescope to study optics and help prove his theory of light and colors. The Royal Society asked for a demonstration of his reflecting telescope in 1671, and the organization's interest encouraged Newton to publish his notes on light, optics, and color in 1672. These notes were later published as part of Newton's Optics. Between 1665 and 1667, Newton returned home from Trinity College to pursue his private study, as school was closed due to Great Plague. Legend has it that at this time, Newton experienced his famous inspiration of gravity with the falling apple. According to this common myth, Newton was sitting under an apple tree when a fruit fell and hit him on the head, inspiring him to suddenly come up with the theory of gravity. While there is no evidence that the apple hit Newton's head, he did see an apple fall from a tree, leading him to wonder why it fell straight down and not at an angle. Consequently, he began exploring the theories of motion and gravity. It was during this 18-month gap as a student that Newton conceived many of his most important insights, including the method of infinitesimal calculus, the foundations for his theory of light and color, and the laws of planetary motion. that eventually led to the publication of his physics book Principia and his theory of gravity. In 1687, following 18 months of intense and effectively non-stop work, Newton published Philosophy, Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy, most often known as Principia. Principia is said to be the single most influential book on physics and possibly all of science. Its publication immediately raised Newton to international prominence. Principia offers an exact quantitative description of bodies in motion with three basic but important laws of motion. Newton's three basic laws of motion outlined in Principia helped him arrive at his theory of gravity. Newton's law of universal gravitation states that two objects attract each other with a force of gravitational attraction that's proportional to their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between their centers. Not everyone at the Royal Academy was enthusiastic about Newton's discoveries in optics, and the 1672 publication of Optics, or a treatise of the reflections, refractions, inflections, and color of light. Robert Hooke was one of the original members of the Royal Academy and a scientist who was accomplished in many areas including mechanics and optics. In 1703, Newton was elected President of the Royal Society upon Robert Hooke's death. However, Newton never seemed to understand the notion of science as a cooperative venture, and his ambition and fierce defense of his discoveries continued to lead him from one conflict to another with other scientists. Towards the end of this life, Newton lived at Cranberry Park near Winchester in England. By this time, Newton had become one of the most famous men in Europe. His scientific discoveries were unchallenged. By the time he reached 80 years of age, Newton was experiencing digestion problem and had to drastically change his diet and mobility. In March 1727, Newton experienced pain in his abdomen and blacked out, never to regain consciousness. He died the next day on March 31, 1727, at the age of 84. Newton's fame grew even more after his death, as many of his contemporaries proclaimed him the greatest genius who ever lived. Although his discoveries were among many made during the scientific revolution, Newton's universal principles of gravity found no parallels in science at the time. Newton might not have been surprised in his later life when asked for an assessment of his achievements. He replied, "I do not know what I may appear to the world, but to myself I seem to have been only like a boy playing on the seashore and diverting myself now and then in finding a smoother pebble or prettier sail than ordinary, while the great ocean of truth lay all undiscovered before me." Thank you. If you like this video, please do subscribe and share with your friends and hit the like button. Thank you.